After a long stretch cruising the Pacific Northwest, we're sailing back into the U.S., making landfall in the San Juan Islands at Friday Harbor. We check in, stretch our legs, and treat ourselves to a nice meal before setting off the next morning for Sequim, Washington. There we take a few days to get It's the Truth ready for our first offshore passage since sailing up from Mexico, heading back out into the open Pacific for the trip down to San Francisco.
Alright, we've officially crossed the big imaginary line. We're back in the U.S. It looks very similar to Canada, couldn't even tell. I submitted on CBP Rome and I just got my ass handed to my hand. So we submitted through CBP Rome, and the guy on the other called and he wasn't very friendly. He said, because I submitted it when I was still in Canada. I was like, dude, I'm 300 feet away from the border. I'm crossing the big imaginary line, but he was very upset. I guess my IP address was still in Canada, so it wasn't technically in the US, but I was just trying to be proactive. And I guess I should have waited 300 feet more. What are you gonna do? Anyway, we're here, we're coming back into the US. We're still motoring because it's like the wind's right on our nose. Which is kind of unfortunate. But we're getting there. Still doing 5 knots. We got some current with us, so the wind's on our nose, but we're getting pushed by the current, so pretty good.
That boat's got a lot of miles on her.
Alright, so we are here in Friday Harbor. We're just walking up, grabbing a bite to eat. Oh, I'm looking back this way. Just walking up, grabbing a bite to eat. And we actually already been into town. We had to check in at the customs dock because this guy's Canadian. So yeah, we had to actually check in. But no, we're all checked in. We dropped the hook and we're just coming in for a bite to eat. So.
Hello.
Hi. Yeah, the boats in this marina, by the way. Some nice boats in here. Boats I could never afford in like 10 lifetimes. But yeah, like we said, we walked around just a short bit because we had to walk up to the customs office and check Rui into the country, into the U.S. So it's a cute little town, very touristic. We're in, I guess folks come here. The seaplanes have been going off. It's a 45-minute flight to Seattle. Lots of ferries coming in and out as well. So I guess they get real busy, but it's Sunday evening now, so hopefully there's a place to eat still open. And yeah, we're just here for a night before we head off because, like I keep saying, we gotta get going. So, but I've had friends tell me about the San Juan Islands, friends I met in Guatemala who are from Seattle, so they said we had to come to the San Juan Islands. And we're here, not as long as I'd like, but at least we get to see a little bit of it.
Walking into Friday Harbor feels like stepping into a postcard. Nestled on San Juan Island, this charming town has been a maritime hub for over a century. With waterfront cafes, local shops, and a relaxed island pace, it's a perfect stop for sailors and travelers alike.
As you guys can see, even the leaves are starting to change color, so you know it's fall, it's time to head south. It's been really nice being up here. The weather has been gorgeous, but definitely getting chillier, and the nights are coming faster each day. But when you see leaves changing, then it's really time to go. Found the really yummy place. It's across from King's Market, and we had a really good meal for much more affordable than the ones on the water. I am feeling full. Ruri had some lobster bisque and
a BLT.
And I had a chicken sandwich. We had calamari to start, and it was all cooked deliciously. Feel like we got our money's worth for here.
Definitely stuffed.
So we're gonna roll on back down to the boat. But nice to come by and see the town. A cloudy morning, a little foggy, but it's all cleared up, and we're on our way again. So leaving Friday Harbor. And, still looks a little foggy outside, but it should clear up along with the rest of it. But yeah, this was a beautiful place to stop. I highly recommend if you're in the area to drop a hook here. It was really lovely. Very touristic, expensive, but it was nice to be in a nice little town. And lots of sailboats here, which is really cool. But yeah, we have about just over 30 miles to go, and we're heading to Sequim, Washington. So heading to the mainland of the United States. Gonna meet up with some friends. Definitely a beautiful place to live. Pretty nice, but it's also a lovely early fall day. The sun's shining. Who knows if it's like this all the time, but it's very nice now.
Fall sailing is usually the best time in Lake Ontario. Spring and fall, lots of winds.
Yeah.
Summer sailing sucked.
Yeah.
No winds.
It's the same in Deltaville, Virginia, or in the Chesapeake Bay. Summer sailing, there's no wind. But spring and fall, it's pretty good. So we'll see what we get out here today. We don't know. So it's been pretty thick fog this whole trip and not much wind. Now we're coming into this narrow channel. Just barely make out that marker. But I have the AIS on. We've had radar on the whole time. So should be good. Oh, we can finally see land. There it is.
There it is. 100 feet away from us.
Yeah, we haven't been able to see anything this whole time. It's been crazy. We can see again. This is the clearest it's been since we left the San Juan Islands, which is good because we're about to drop the hook, and I didn't really want to drop a hook in really thick bog, so. The sun feels good. It's out.
Alrighty.
Alrighty. Well, we have done the things we need to do. We've spent 2 days here in Sequim. I kept pronouncing it Sequim, but it's actually pronounced Sequim. Picked up our packages. We saw our friend Aaron from Utopias this morning for a quick bit, and he helped us pick up, fill up the jugs and jerry cans, and pick up a few other things, which is very nice of him. And he also came out to drop off packages, which is extremely nice of him. But it was also just great to see them because we haven't seen Aaron and Blanca and Maya since Mexico, but they're up here for a year at home to refund their cruising kitty, so it was great to see them. But now we're off just in time. Time to start the engine.
And we are heading to?
We are heading to San Francisco. So it's, I think it's 700 miles from here. So we're going to head out, and we're going to do overnight to around Nia Bay. And we're not stopping in Nia Bay, but we are doing overnight just because the currents actually run in our favor overnight on the way out. So they say, but you know, currents. But we're hoping they're with us. Not much wind, so we'll probably be motoring on our way out. And then once we get out, we should be able to sail all the way down. So you ready to start the engine, babe? It's a good start. Alright, so pick up anchor, head on out. First offshore sail since we came up here.
As we leave Sequim behind, the open ocean calls us south once again. There's nothing quite like the feeling of setting sail offshore. The freedom, the unknown, the promise of the journey ahead. And this passage is a special one. We're bound for San Francisco, a city that feels like a milestone for so many sailors. But as excited as I am, there's a quiet stillness in me too. After a summer filled with wild landscapes, glaciers, and the endless beauty of the Pacific Northwest, it's hard to say goodbye.
Alright, so it's nearly the end of the first full day of a big left turn, making our way down to San Francisco. Leaving last night, overnight, was the right thing to do. We had an excellent current, and we actually made it out from Sequim really, really fast. We made it in, I think we did like 70 miles in about 12 hours. So yeah, we were pretty fast with the current. And then we turned the corner this morning. It was still dark outside. I came on watch about 5 a.m. and you couldn't really see much. I didn't video a whole lot. Plus then trying to figure out which way the winds were trying to come from. And unfortunately, as per usual, the forecast was wrong. So we were in pretty miserable seas in a light southerly. So we've been motor sailing for a while now, pretty much all day. But the winds are starting to turn around. So we're trying to make it out. We're on the very edge of this wind line. And at least there's a breeze now. Still not quite enough for us to sail in, but we do have some current with us, and the waves are a lot better now, so it's much more comfortable. Yeah, I slept most of the day, and then Rui was on watch, and I took back over about 5 p.m. again. But yeah, just forecasts saying we might get some wind tonight. I don't know. What are you gonna do? Once you get out here, of course the forecast changes. But at least we do have our jib up, so we're kind of motor sailing, keeping us a bit more balanced in the bigger waves. It's a pretty big swell out here. And yeah, we'll just see what we get as we carry on. Did see a whale this morning. I went up to check the sails, peeked my head around, and a whale was just reaching 30 feet off the bow of our boat, so I had to do a hard right turn. And yeah, he swam away from us, but it was pretty close. Yeah, just waiting for the northerlies to fill in a bit more, which, crossing our fingers, they do. But otherwise, it's going to be a motor sail for a while, unless the forecast changes again.
Join us next week as we continue sailing south along the Oregon coast and make an unexpected stop in a gem of a town with a very tricky sandbar. Until next time, cheers!